A PowerPoint to accompany my report. And for those of you who were at Wood, and I know a number of board members were there, this was probably a familiar scene of teachers and students huddling up and getting ready to go out and play the game of basketball, and doing so in a collaborative and an enjoyable way. So I think it's very fitting that many of you recognized Unified Sports. And because we've been so active this year and all of our middle schools have now joined in and taken part, it happened to be something on my report as well that I wanted to pause and thank lots of folks who make this work happen. And Dr. Spencer Imes and Dr. Flossie, who's in the audience waving there, a lot of leadership work and organization on their part, but also staff at every one of our schools who step up and volunteer their time. Parents, we could not have this program without parents who encourage young people and also show up that day to cheer and also help make the events happen. And of course, the stars of the show, all of our students. And so, as Reagan mentioned, this is a program that in which we lead as a district in Oregon in terms of having a middle school program, but both of our high schools this year have been named Oregon Unified Champion Schools. And we'll receive banners, and that's quite a testament to the comprehensive way that this program has made its way into the schools, not only with soccer and basketball, but both of our high schools have a club that meets during the school day. And so those are components of what it means to be a unified sports school. So very proud of our students, our parents, and our staff in this program. Next slide, just a quick high school study update. I was able to attend the COSA seminar on high school success, which is actually around Measure 98, but there's a lot of correlations in how we're thinking about supporting high school students alongside the study that we're engaged in. Several of you mentioned the revitalization grant awarded to Westland High School. There was a wonderful evening presentation to parents that a few of you attended, as well as staff from Westland High School then presented to the high school study group about the grant and about what it means to expand our options of learning for students. We are in the process of surveying as many high school students as we can, and Andrew Kilstrom is doing that work. Currently, we've interviewed over 60 students, and we're adding more to that bank of responses, asking students about their current experience and what it is that we need to know from them about how they're experiencing their learning as well as their interactions in high school. We have a summit planned for April 28th and have just solidified speaker Diana Laufenberg, and you can go on to TED Talks and hear her talk about transforming schools. She is the executive director of Inquiry Schools, and so she's going to spend the day with us. We're going to open up that summit to more high school teachers than who are part of the high school study. And she's going to come and just talk about ways that we can think outside the box about how high school students and students in general are learning in our schools. And so it'll be great to have someone provoke us a little bit and nudge us and then inspire us to think deeply in the work, and then we'll have some opportunity for teachers to engage. So next, you've mentioned safety, and I just want to bring a couple more updates to you. As you know, we have finished our emergency operations plan, and we're in the process of now presenting that to the various groups who are a part of that plan, the community groups, as well as board members, and those are listed here. This week I will be attending Beaverton School District's Emergency Responders Partnership meeting. They've invited me to that, and Police Chief Neil Henley will go with me. It'll be an opportunity for us to see how they structure those tabletop exercises, working with a broad group of community members to think about scenarios around safety, and we can bring that learning back to our school district. We will have on April 19th then a joint meeting with our first responders and our city managers around our district's emergency operations plan. Director Hides mentioned, being at a school and watching how emergency procedures are an evolving and unique set of plans depending on the layout of a school, and the importance of learning from these trainings and drills that we conduct with our students. On May 23rd, We'll bring all of our school leadership teams as well as the office staff together, secretaries, engineers, and they will work with the district emergency operations plan, but actually then also develop their school emergency plan as a layer on top of that. So that is an important part of the safety work that we continue, that we update those school operations plans as well. Our theme this year, of course, is leading together, and some of you have already mentioned ways that we're doing that. Chair Fitch and I did meet with Mayor Axelrod and City Manager Eileen Stein, and again reviewed one of the topics that they are going to be bringing up for our joint meeting around parking. And I just wanted to summarize again what that challenge is around those limitations as a city that's growing and a school that's growing, and how we then have to always be evolving around those kinds of plans together as well. And so we'll be having that conversation at the joint meeting. Next slide. Dr. Spencer Imes and I were able to meet also with our friends in the important work around inclusion. Westland Alliance for Inclusive Community met with Cynthia Flannery, Bill House, and Maisie Tenor. They are doing really important work, very similar to Pam Pierce, engaging the community around a topic around equity and race in our community, and helping parents understand the role of the school district and school equity teams. And so we had a very productive conversation where we could support their work when they have community sessions and as they give information to parents, what it is the district wants parents to know and ways that we can work with existing structures to get that communication out. And I know Dr. Reynolds is on that subcommittee, so she could probably speak to that and much better than I could about how their meetings are going. So appreciate that. And of course, the Westland Alliance for Inclusive Communities, those subcommittees are doing incredible work, and we're very fortunate to have an organization like that in our community. And we've mentioned the upcoming meeting, but there it is for members of the audience. If they want to know the date, April 16th, and the location will be at the City of West Linn. And then lastly, a legislative update has come out. You probably received that from OSBA. Couple that you might find interesting is you've been hearing about this in the news around sports concussions. There have been a few articles about that, but they have expanded the list of qualified health professionals who can then verify when a student is ready to return. So that was an amendment there for a Senate bill. And then I did speak to you a few months back about House Bill 4113, mandating school districts to talk about class size, and that bill was defeated. But that idea is still lingering, and it will likely resurface, find its way through another legislative session. So those were just two, but of course that the description around legislative updates is there online for you through OSBA. It's a nice summary that they put together for school boards. So that ends my report. Thank you.
Students and parents in the district, a matter may come before the board that materially benefits one of my clients. If it does, I will abstain from participating in the discussion or decisions on that matter without disclosing the identity of my client. We're going to move to the consent agenda at this time.
So I'd like to remove agenda item 7B1 from the consent agenda.
Okay, that leaves A and B2. Do I have a motion on that?
I move we approve the remaining items on the consent agenda.
Second?
Second.
Call the vote.
Dylan Hides.
Aye.
Chelsea Martin.
Yes.
Ginger Fitch.
Aye.
Betty Reynolds.
Aye.
Regan Molitor.
Yes.
So at this time, we're going to have comments from the audience. Just again, format the board by policy limits the presentation to 5 minutes. If you have more, you're welcome to provide information in writing to the board, and we'll make sure everybody gets it. If you have signed to speak, I just want to note that that is a public document. All of the information you provide, which we require that you provide your name and address, would be in the public record. And in addition, would advise you not to raise issues specific to a staff member or to a student because of the public nature. So, Ms. Ham?
For allowing me to speak. My name is Katie Ham. I live at 29554 Southwest Milano Lane in Wilsonville with my husband and my 2 daughters. My oldest is in kindergarten at Lowry. I grew up in this district. I went to Wilsonville Primary, Beckman Creek, Wood Middle School, and I graduated from Wilsonville High School. My dad spent many years as a teacher and administrator in the district, and my little sister is currently a teacher at Westland High School. After learning about the toxic pesticides that are used in our city and school district, I joined Crystal Fisher to partner with Non-Toxic Irvine, a nonprofit organization based in Irvine, California, to establish Non-Toxic Wilsonville in early January of this year. Our mission is to work with the city and school district leaders and ask that they make the health of our children a priority over weed control by banning toxic pesticides. Before we voice our concerns, we want to thank our principal and all the amazing district staff who have taken time out of their busy schedules to meet with us over the past 6 weeks. Everyone has been very receptive to our concerns. We also want to thank the district for implementing their integrative pest management plan within a year of the law going into effect, thereby reducing herbicide use by 80%. Now for our concerns. While the district's IPM reduces use and ensures that precautions are taken during application of pesticides, our school grounds are currently being treated with synthetic pesticides that are linked to cancer, endocrine disruption, reproductive effects, neurotoxicity, kidney damage, liver damage, and birth defects. The American Academy of Pediatrics says there is no safe level of pesticide exposure to children. Pesticides are toxic chemicals, poisons created to kill. They are dangerous to all living things, including adults and pregnant women, and are particularly dangerous to a child's developing organ system. An EPA registration number does not equate to safety. Crystal and I were surprised to learn that the EPA does not test pesticides for safety. Of the 36 most commonly used lawn care pesticides registered before 1984, only 1 has been fully tested and evaluated, sulfur. The EPA does not conduct research to determine the potential health effects of pesticides, nor does the EPA consider university research into pesticide safety. The EPA merely asks pesticide manufacturers to conduct their own research and submit it. We don't have to think very hard to remember many cases where industry has failed to adequately police the safety of its own products. DDT, lead paint, tobacco, to name a few. Even substantial scientific evidence that pesticides harm human health can be disregarded by the EPA, as in the case of glyphosate and 2,4-D, which is an active ingredient in Agent Orange. EPA is not a guarantee of safety. In fact, the EPA states that no pesticide can ever be considered perfectly safe. I'd like to turn this over now to Crystal Fisher.
Good evening. My name is Crystal Fisher. I live at 11188 Southwest Barber Street in Wilsonville with my husband and 2 daughters. Sorry. My daughter is in kindergarten at Lowry. a PTA member, and I volunteer in my daughter's class. Sorry, this is... The good news about what Katie mentioned is that there are safer alternatives that are being successfully used in many school districts and cities throughout the country. Connecticut and New York have passed statewide legislation banning the use of toxic pesticides on school grounds. A number of cities in California have banned toxic pesticides and are turning to safer alternatives. The Irvine Unified School District and the entire city of Irvine have shifted to organically driven turf maintenance and pest management practices at no additional cost. The best part is that our partner, Non-Toxic Irvine, the group behind these changes, provides resources and support for other communities who would also like to move away from the use of toxic pesticides. They have recommended products for our district that meet the state requirements. In closing, we have 2 requests. We are requesting that the board ban the use of glyphosate, 2,4-D, and dicamba, and adopt an organically driven IPM. This would include improving soil health, adding organic inputs, and using safe products for weed control when absolutely necessary. The second request is that a proposal of an organically driven IPM be added to the May 7th board agenda. If our topic is on the agenda, we would like to bring a guest, Bob Johnson, who is a founding member of Non-Toxic Irvine. Bob will also be speaking to community leaders in Eugene, Ashland, and Talent, Oregon. We'd like to end a quote from Jane Goodall in support of our partners at Non-Toxic Irvine. Time and science are revealing just how harmful these toxins can be to humans, animals, and the entire ecosystem. It's encouraging to know that there are people working to stop the use of pesticides in their communities. In Irvine, California, a group called Non-Toxic Irvine is doing good work to make this change by engaging in a dialogue with their city's leaders. I hope people all over the world will be moved to take similar action. We hope you will join us in this non-toxic movement. Again, thank you for your time.
Hold on a minute, because I want to make sure. You asked, you had 2 specific requests.
Yeah.
And one was to ban the use of glyphosate. I probably pronounced that wrong.
Glyphosate, 2,4-D.
And 2,4-D. And then, could you repeat the second request?
We would request that a proposal of an organically driven IPM be added to the May 7th board agenda. If our topic is on the agenda, we would like to bring a guest, Bob Johnson, who is a founding member of Non-Toxic Irvine, and he will also be speaking to community leaders in Eugene, Ashland, and Talent, Oregon.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Chabot?
Good evening. My name is Erin Chabuk. I live at 1835 Bay Meadows Drive in Westland. My daughter is a kindergartner at Trillium Creek Primary School, and I have 2 younger children who will be following her there as well. I wanted to speak today to voice my support for the initiative that Crystal and Katie have taken to find an alternative to pesticide use at our schools, and to second their request that this topic be added to the next school board meeting agenda. Many families within the district are concerned about the use of pesticides at our schools and around our kids. After an email was sent out to parents informing us about the upcoming use of pesticides, a petition to halt the spraying was circulated in Westland and quickly gained over 150 signatures in just a few hours. I know that Non-Toxic Wilsonville also has a petition with close to 500 signatures. Clearly, this is an important issue for many members of our community. Across the country, many forward-looking districts have already moved to a no pesticide policy, and many more are following. Our district is already a leader in academics in the state of Oregon, and we now have an opportunity to be a leader in setting policy that will protect the health of each and every student in the district. We can learn from what others have done to quickly make this change. Not only are there groups like Non-Toxic Irvine, but there are countless other organizations and school districts that offer best practices, lessons learned, and other resources. This shift away from traditional pesticides is important and quite feasible. As a brief example, I recently spoke to the facilities manager at my hometown district in Glastonbury, Connecticut. He was kind enough to share his experience since Connecticut banned the use of pesticides on school grounds in 2010. By using a combination of community work parties, organic pesticides, and turf maintenance practices, they have been able to successfully maintain their athletic fields and school grounds without an increase in budget. He even emphasized that their campus cleanup days have become a fun event for families and local scouting troops and have provided an opportunity for shared responsibility in the community. In closing, I hope that you will consider approaches to grounds maintenance that do not involve synthetic pesticides, and that you will add this important topic to the next school board meeting agenda. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Schreiber? Take a break or?
Thank you. My name is Danny Schreiber. I am a father of two boys here in West Linn-Wilsonville School District, as well as I'm a professional journalist. But tonight I am here representing the West Linn Historical Society. I'm the vice president of the West Linn Historical Society. And we had a little project that we want to share with you guys. We got a little PowerPoint to go along with. It's been said, you guys can change it to the first slide if you like. It's been said that newspapers are the first draft of history. This is a statement that does not discern what type of journalism, whether it's a professional news organization or student journalists. In fact, newspapers have been and continue to be a wonderful resource for researchers, for historians, to get primary information. And ever since the development of the first printing press, it's been a great resource for us. Go ahead and change the next slide. The National Endowment for the Humanities, in conjunction with the Library of Congress, began an ambitious project a few years ago to digitize all of America's historic newspapers from the year 1690 until today, making them publicly available to researchers to find the online copies of these news resources. Prior to this, researchers would have had to gone back into the old archives. And this project is called Chronicling America, Historic American Newspapers. It's a digital newspaper program. Prior to this, of course, microfilm, actual physical copies would have been what researchers had to do. And of course, those are much, much harder to do. Now, with a few keystrokes, you can look up newspapers all the way back to the 1700s at home. In 2010, next slide, the University of Oregon was awarded the contract to digitize all of the historic newspapers in the state of Oregon. Since then, over 700,000 pages, I think they're getting close to 1 million now on their archives, have been digitized and made available through the University of Oregon. Now, next slide. Since the 1920s, West Linn High School, which was originally called the Union High School, has had a student-run newspaper. It's been published regularly. It's called The Amplifier. And this newspaper, of course, documents student life in West Linn. Past copies of the newspaper have been kept by individual students, as well as a few have been archived there at the school. Next slide. In the spring of last year, 2017, the West Linn Historical Society received an inquiry from a student journalist at West Linn High School who was concerned about the decaying archives of their recent issues. And the administration and the journalism professor at West Linn High School granted the West Linn Historical Society permission to coordinate and implement the digitization of the past copies that they were able to find at the time. And the Amplifier would become available to the world to read. So as a partner institution of the University of Oregon, the digital newspaper program, the West Linn Historical Society coordinated with the U of O staff to archive, to digitize, and catalog all the current past copies of the Amplifier, which included the years 1983, and then 2006, 2011. Not a lot, but that's what we started with. Next slide. So with the help of the West Linn Tidings, who were very interested when they heard what we were doing, obviously they're a newspaper as well, they did a nice article to talk about the efforts to help raise awareness and, of course, to raise some funding for us. Through generous donations, you can go to the next slide, the Historical Society members were able to raise our $600 fee, which isn't a much for the digitization. We had a grant from the Lines as well as the donations from members to do just that small part of it, which was a great effort for us. So after nearly a year of working on this project, we would like to present to the West Linn-Wilsonville School District a virtual gift. We don't have anything to give, but we have now, you can go ahead and change the next slide, the years 2006 to 2011 of the amplifier available to the world for free on the part of the Digital Archive. So we're now part of, you can change the next slide too, part of the Library of Congress. Thank you. So we're not done yet, though, because after the initial digitization, the student journalists, and by the way, that was the years 2006 to 2011, and then we had that 1 year we got 1983. But the student journalist, after we ran the articles and after this started to get talk, he found a whole other stack of papers. They date back to, you go to the next slide, we have this one copy from 1924, plus a number of others in there, spotty years as we go forward. But it is our goal now to digitize those. So we're doing some fundraising to try to get money to pay for those. These are, as you can already tell from this picture, they're decaying very quickly. And we know we're missing years, although we have listed on the Library of Congress, they know the paper ran from 1921 till today, but we don't have all those years in there. So when you look at the archive, you go, oh, we got 1921, but they don't exist in the digital archive yet. So we're digitizing those, and so we're in the process of raising money as well as we want to find those missing years. So if anyone knows where there's at, we're hoping that we got an individual or a group who might have that archive, that we can get those digitized and save those copies before they degrade into nothing, so that they can be available for everybody. While some may call a student newspaper trivial, some of their articles are fun and cute to read, but it's the Westland Historical Society believes that those are the voices of our youth, and they can be a snapshot of an era that's long gone. They stand alone as a narrative of a generation of high school students who are now, of course, adults. And many of those students we've lost, who passed on. If these student newspapers are not saved, we could lose all the voices from that generation, and those young adults could lose their voice forever. The Westland Historical Society would like to continue supporting and saving the history of the student-run newspaper. We truly feel that the schools of Westland, their students, their parents, their teachers, and their staff certainly have a place in the historic narrative of Westland. So thank you for your time.
Perhaps that could be part of the board report. Thank you. We